Hi, everyone. I am Jorge, Director of Innovation at Practica, and it's a pleasure and an honor to be joined today by Dr. Paul Dongha, who is originally from India and is currently residing in the United Kingdom. Dr. Paul is the group head of responsible AI and AI strategy at NatWest Group, one of the largest financial institutions in the United Kingdom. Also, Dr. Paul is one of the leading global authorities in artificial intelligence, having helped and driven digital transformations for more than 20 years, focusing in data and AI large projects in companies and governments. Before joining NatWest, Dr. Paul was group head of data and AI ethics at Lloyds Banking Group, where he also co-chaired the data and AI ethics board. He holds a PhD in artificial intelligence, as well as both a master's and bachelor's in computer science, and is a guest lecturer at Harvard Business School, teaching Gen AI at the MBA level. Dr. Paul, thank you for joining me today. It is a pleasure to be having this quick conversation about your participation in the AI for Business Summit Latam. We are excited to host you in Bogota in July. The first question that I would love to ask you is, what does responsible AI adoption mean in the context of AI applied to the business world?
Well, first of all, Jorge, thank you for that very kind introduction, and it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm very much looking forward to joining you in July. In answer to your question, responsible AI adoption in the business world, it really talks about how organizations should mobilize and organize themselves so that they can use artificial intelligence at scale. And when I say at scale, I mean, how can they use it to increase the productivity and efficiency of their colleagues at work? And how can they find opportunities to create better interactions with their customers? So the customer interaction that AI enables will allow for a much better, a much more efficient, and a much more personalized way of interacting with customers. But of course, for all the benefits that AI can bring, it has to be adopted in a way that is responsible. And by responsible, we mean a number of things. But I think the most important thing is, because artificial intelligence works in a way that is in some ways not very transparent, we have to ensure that organizations put in controls, risk management, and mitigations, so that if the AI produces results or recommendations which are sometimes incorrect, that they can be stopped, and that organizations can ensure AI does exactly what it's supposed to do, as well as it can, but doesn't do anything that's undesirable or anything that's surprisingly wrong. So responsible AI really means the organization mobilizing across a number of areas. And it's not just technology, but it's how the organization governs itself and ensures that the teams responsible for AI, the technology teams, the legal teams, senior management and executives understand that they have to put in the controls, that they are accountable for the decisions that AI makes, so that only the right decisions get made to benefit customers and to benefit the people that use AI in the organization.
And Dr. Paul, your session in the AI for Business Summit Latam is called Ethics in the Use of Artificial Intelligence, Criteria for Decision-Making by CEOs, Boards of Directors, and Business Leaders. Can you walk us through what will the session be about, and why is it so important for company decision makers to learn about this?
Absolutely. So the session will focus on, as you say, the ethical risks of AI. So AI has certain ability to cause harm if it's not used in the right way. So for example, people talk about bias and fairness. With AI systems, because they are configured in a way that they can produce unpredictable results, we want to ensure that the way the system is used and the customers that it's used on, it's used fairly, that no customers are denied opportunities, and no customers are discriminated against based on either race or their gender or any other kind of factor. So using AI so it's fair and it benefits everybody is really what the session will focus on. So fairness, bias, transparency. So transparency is about the way the AI system works. Now, when we look at AI systems at the moment, and in particular, generative AI, so we look at generative AI, chat GPT type systems, those systems are not transparent. An organization that deploys such a system will not know how it works. In fact, the developers can't really explain how it works. The sheer scale of these systems means that you can't lift the lid and look inside and make a change to change how the system works. This ability, this lack of control means that we have to put guardrails or controls around the system, so that when an AI makes a decision, that we as an organization can explain how that decision has been made. And to explain how that decision is made means that those controls have to be really quite rigorous and robust, and they have to be implemented in a way that allows us to make that explanation clear to our customers. So for example, if an AI system says something through a chatbot, how do we know before the AI system responds that the response is going to be accurate, that it's going to be fair, and that it's not going to have bias in it, and that it's not going to say something that we don't approve? Well, that's very difficult. And the difficulty there is we have to put in controls to stop that happening. And there are various techniques that we can employ to do that. We can look at the data, we can look at the response, we can trap the response before it's issued to our customers, we can change responses, and we can what's called fine-tune the model. So there are various techniques to enable us to do this. Some of those techniques are technical, but it's not just technology that we need. We need people who have expertise in data privacy. We need people in an organization that understand AI from a legal perspective. In Europe, for example, there is an AI Act. So there's certain legislation that forces AI organizations to implement robust controls, good technology and good practices, and to be able to measure how good those controls are. So controls are only as good as if they're used in the right way, in the right circumstances. So we will explore all of these issues. We will explore how organizations can change to adopt them. We will explore risk management, and we will explore ethics, fairness and bias, and what that really means. And we will also explore things like sustainability. So we want to make sure that when we use AI, we use it in a way that's operationally sustainable. And by that, what I mean is AI has a long-term future. And if it's adopted responsibly, we can ensure that it continues to be used for years to come. And we can build expertise in how to do that, because that expertise is lacking at the moment in organizations. Finding people that understand the technology, can work with the technology, there are not many of those people around. And organizations have to build a culture and an expertise in all of those things. And that takes time to build. It's very hard to do, but it's a journey that organizations have to go on, so that when we talk about responsible AI, they can really live that and they can demonstrate that they can do that.
Thank you, Dr. Paul. And I think you already alluded to this question, but will you be sharing specific strategies, recommendations, methodologies for company and government decision makers?
I'll definitely be sharing strategies. So if I could talk about that for one moment, strategy really involves decision-making driven from the board. So the board of a company needs to ensure that they give a role to, I think, a chief responsible AI officer or a chief AI officer. That officer should have a team dedicated to ensuring that they can work across the entire organization, both the risk division, the legal division, the product division, the IT divisions, to ensure that all of those divisions do the right thing. And they have to do the right thing by working together and working collaboratively. So a strategy is best executed from the top of the bank. It's from the top of an organization. Sorry, I work for a bank, so often I will use the word bank. But it has to be driven from the board, and it has to be driven with the board working with regulators and working with the government. I support organizations being transparent around how they're going to adopt AI and informing their regulators. In the UK, we have a financial regulator. We have different regulators for different sectors. And we recommend working with your regulator to say what you will do as an organization and how you will do it, leveraging best practices. There are best practices from different organizations now that are talking about responsible AI. The international standards body, the ISO, has standards that they want organizations to adhere to. How do we comply with those standards is something that the chief AI officer has to work out with his or her risk teams, and then demonstrate that that is happening, telling regulators, this is what we're doing and this is how we're doing it. And above all, your companies need to invest. We're at the point now where AI has great opportunity, but we need to make an investment in all of that to ensure that the people we employ are skilled, to ensure that all of the teams have the right level of skill and culture within the organization to do this properly. So the undertaking is big. It's a sizable thing that needs to be driven strategically. It's not just an IT project that's done by the head of IT. That alone will not solve the problem. It will enable technology to be built, but it may not be safe, and it may not be responsible, and it may not actually give you the productivity benefits that AI can give you. So these are some of the highlights of a strategy.
This has been really insightful. Thank you for sharing all this, Dr. Dongha. And to wrap it up, do you have any other thoughts or things that you'd like to share with the audience, with the people that are going to meet you soon in Bogota?
I think so, yeah. I think I'd like to highlight one thing, and I kind of alluded to it. I have a firm belief that artificial intelligence is here to stay. It's with us now. There are some people that say, well, you know, Paul, I'm not quite sure. I don't think AI is going to be really big. Well, look, I have a particular view of all the work that I've done and the research that I've done. The trajectory of artificial intelligence is here, and it's proving beneficial already. Our job as important organizations and ethics people is to ensure that it's used in the right way, and it's used to benefit people and benefit employees. So working hand in hand, humans with AI, is the way we can make this work. We must do it in partnership, and we must do it from a responsible AI point of view to ensure that everyone benefits from AI. And when I say everyone, I mean different parts of the world. I mean employees that use it. I mean customers who are customers of organizations. We want everyone to benefit, and those benefits to be equally distributed. The danger is, if we don't do this work, that some organizations will take AI and they will keep the benefits for themselves. We've seen this with big technology companies, sometimes keeping control of technology for their own benefit. And I think we have an opportunity now, while AI is growing, to harness it and to make sure that we guide how it's deployed, how it's used, so that it benefits everyone. And Jorg, it's a very, very exciting time, I think, globally. And now is the time to be able to steer it and control it so it has that as an outcome.